Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Serena and today I'm going to be sharing with you a New Earth Collective message for this week as well as for the Pisces new moon. Watch this video. Alright guys, welcome back. Thank you so much for joining me today. If you are new here, be sure to hit that subscribe button, like and comment on this video to receive more videos just like this one. I talk about a number of different topics, but if you're looking for more support, you can also visit my website. I do work one-on-one with people in terms of their new earth relationships, their twin flame journeys, their highly sensitive or empathic souls, and how to balance that in New Earth and real life. So if you're looking for any more support, check the link in the description. You can go to my website and find out more about how you can work with me one-on-one. But today we are going to be talking about what it is that you need to know this week, what messages Spirit has for you. We are doing a card pull. I've pulled a card for the collective of things that we need to know and keep in mind. And then also the full moon that we have in Pisces on September 10th. If you're in the southern hemisphere like me, it is now transitioning from our winter into our spring. If you are in the northern hemisphere, you are going from summer into fall. So no matter where you're at, we're all still going to be feeling the energies of this Pisces full moon. And from what I have experienced so far, there's been a lot of symptoms such as we have Mercury coming into retrograde on the 9th. We have some solar flares that have been happening as well. So if you've been feeling extra tired, if you've been having headaches, toothaches, nausea, just not feeling like yourself, that is completely normal for what we are going through right now. There's a lot of things happening astrologically, a lot of things happening out in the cosmos that we're sometimes not even aware of. So I just want you to know that if you're feeling a little bit off, a little bit drained, more tired than normal, that is actually completely normal. So don't worry about that. Moving into the Pisces full moon, okay? So Pisces as an archetype, right, is the fish. So think about that. There's the fish flows, and goes through water. Pisces are also known for being very dreamlike. So during this full moon, you might experience a lot more heightened messages in your dreams. You might be feeling very connected to your intuition. You might be also feeling very connected or heightened emotions. So none of this is bad, right? Sometimes it can feel overwhelming, especially if you're an empathic person or if you're a highly sensitive person like myself. But none of this is bad, okay? So what we're really experiencing now is a deeper ability to heal ourselves. So Pisces, right, it's the last zodiac in the entire cycle. So this idea, Pisces is a place of completion. Right? So what are you completing? You might be feeling like you have a lot of ancestral trauma that's coming up for you. I know for myself, I've been having dreams of my mother, my grandmother, and people in my life like that I've inherited ancestral trauma from. So take a look at yourself and where you're seeing these things come up for you. Also keep in mind, one of the major energies that's coming up in this time is seeing your traumas, seeing your wounds, seeing your reactions from almost a higher and different perspective than maybe you ever have before. So I'll give you an example of what this can look like. For myself, okay, so I like to run or walk every morning, and I go to the beach, and it's incredible. And so a few days ago, I was running to the beach, and I was listening to a podcast, and this podcast was talking about plant medicines. And so what they were talking about was acid, LSD, magic mushrooms, speed, all of these crazy different drugs, right? And so at the part that I was at, they were talking about magic mushrooms. And so the girl said the word trip, and instantly my foot caught a rock and I tumbled over onto myself, like literally flew into the air and fell, like face planted into the gravel. And so I've got a nice little scrape from that. My knees are a little banged up. And so when I realized, like, it happened so fast, and when I realized what had happened, you know, the instant reaction that came to me was to be embarrassed and to cry. So instantly, like, I felt that feeling in my chest, like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna cry right now. And then I was able to just put a little bit of space in between the reaction and what had happened, right? So the event happens, and you guys will notice this as well, okay? So whatever event it is happens. So the event happens, you inject a tiny bit of space into where your normal instant reaction would be, a tiny bit of space, just a moment of thought. And then your reaction changes completely. So for me, what this was I wanted to cry. I wanted to sit there and be like, poor Serena, how did this happen? So sorry, you're injured. And I wanted to cry. And then I had a little bit of space and I started laughing. I started cracking up because it was so comical that I was literally running, not paying attention to what I was doing. She says the word trip, and instantly I fall onto the ground, like just flying through the air and somersaulting onto the ground, and just like craziness, right? What are the chances of that? So the ability to see that instance for what it is, right? And sometimes I think as spiritual people, we dive really far deep into, well, if I didn't do this, or, you know, we play the blame game and the right and wrong by trying to find meaning out of things that are just a comic universe joke, right? And that's exactly what was happening to me in this moment. Was I was able to see from a larger perspective of what the actual lightness of the situation was, and that things don't have to be so heavy. So you may experience moments like that leading up to the full moon, or even a few days after, where you're seeing yourself being triggered, but then having what you would find your normal reaction is actually not there. And you're shedding those layers of yourself, which are basically just old programmings, right? Which is things we picked up, maybe ancestral, maybe it's things from this lifetime or another lifetime. And we realize that we don't actually need to respond in that way, and that we can choose a different way to respond. And so this may be things that are happening, like me, it was just within myself. It might be something that's happening with your significant other. It might be something that's happening with a parent figure or an authority figure. Any place that you find that you are normally reactive, you may now be able to see that from a higher perspective. So that's pretty cool. So yeah, that's what we're really expecting from this Pisces full moon, is a chance for deep healing and deep completion of certain thought patterns, cycles, patterns, programming, just things that come up on a normal basis. So with that, like I said, you might be experiencing more vivid dreams, and make sure to write down your dreams. That's something I do all the time, is I take the time to write down my dreams so I can actually see the metaphors that are coming through the dreams, and I can remember how I'm feeling, because our dreams have definitely coded special messages for us all the time. I will be making some dream interpretation videos in the future, because dream interpretation is actually one of my specialties. So if you're looking for more information on dream interpretation, you can also go to my website and book a dream interpretation session as well. But so let's move into the collective message for this week. So I did pull a card for you guys, and the card that we got here is Starry Night. So when I look at this card, right, there's the phases of the moon overhead. Both of the people in the card are looking up at the sky, and there's stars all in the sky, and there's a telescope, right? So when we think about this and what that means for the collective, is think about a starry night, right? When was the last time that you looked up at the sky at night and just marveled at the galaxy, right? When we think about how tiny those little stars are, but when you're up close, they are bigger and brighter than anything we've experienced in life. You know, our star or our sun is a star, right? So all of these stars that are in the night sky that seem so tiny, like little sparkles, are actually massive, gassy balls of light, right? And so that's actually a metaphor for us, right? So if you've been going through a time where you feel like you're just not shining, or you feel like people aren't paying attention to you, or you feel like you're not showing up in a way that you want to show up in life, keep in mind that from one perspective, you are so small. You're nothing, right? You're just a blip in the time. But from another perspective, you are bigger and hotter than anything you've ever experienced, right? And our bodies are made of the same thing that the stars are made of, right? Our bodies are literally made from stardust. So we are the stars incarnated into a human body. So anytime that you're feeling disempowered, that you're feeling like you don't have control over yourself or over your situation, or you're feeling just like life is kind of tossing you around a little bit, like that, remember that you are actually stars. You are stardust. You are made of stars. And you are more powerful than you can even see. Same thing as like a star, right? We have to use a telescope to magnify them, to even see some of them in the night sky, because from our perspective, they're so far away. But when you're up close, the power, the magnitude, the heat, the brightness is overwhelming. It would kill us, right? So think about that as yourself. Think about that as a reflection to you. When was the last time that you marveled at your own brightness, at your own beauty? When was the last time you told yourself, like, I am enough, I'm doing enough, I don't have to keep fighting, keep pushing, keep moving forward. I can be loved and I can be admired for all that I am in this moment, even if I don't feel like I love myself right now. I'm still worthy of love, right? So that's the collective message right now. I know everyone's kind of going through this almost like an identity disassociation, if that makes sense. Like where we're losing certain parts of ourselves that we held on to for a long time. And one of the things that I think is important to keep in mind is that we wouldn't be losing those parts of ourselves if they weren't going to make us lighter and brighter and feel more weightless and feel more attached and more connected to our true selves, right? So think about that. So even if you feel like you're in a season of losing, or in a season of loss, or in a season of not feeling quite like yourself, remember that from one perspective, yes, you might feel very small, but from another perspective, you are bigger, brighter, and more powerful than you can even imagine. So I just want to say thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, definitely like, comment below, ask me any questions that you have to ask, or just put your experience down below to connect. I would love to hear from you. And if you need any additional support, definitely check the description box and you can work with me one-on-one in whatever way feels good for you. But with that being said, thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next time. Big love, Serena.